to MG Midget, the birth of a race car, capturing my journey from car restoration to the 2022 MG Car Club Speed Series. In this episode we're going to be having a look at fitting the flip front. Over the course of the next 3 videos we're going to be fitting the flip front end to the car. So in part 1 we're going to be having a look at cutting the apertures, getting the flip front ready. In part 2 we're going to be mounting it up to the car and getting it so that it can flip, and then in part 3 we're going to be finishing off, so we'll be giving it a coat of paint and also fitting all the reinforcing all the fiberglass internally. So let's get going with part 1. So this is the front I've gone for. It's a traditional Midget style fiberglass, all in one piece, so a considerable weight saving over the metal that I've removed off the front. It comes in a fairly raw state, so I'm going to have to prep the holes for the side lights, for the main grille, for the headlights, and of course it will need painting to match the car as well. So let's have a look in detail. So what I've done here already is made a start on the headlight aperture, guided principally by the new rubber seal. This has to fit into here for the adjustment mechanisms here, and then 4 holes to mount up the screws. So a fairly easy job, as the hole here was already pre-cut, which is good. So next thing I'm moving on to is the side light aperture, where I need to cut out this aperture here and drill the 2 drill holes for the mounting screws. As part of the preparation for the front end, I've decided to reclaim the headlights and side light mechanism. Some people use the round mini style front lights for a flip front end, but I'm going to stick with the originals, probably mostly because the fiberglass front end is shaped for these as well. These are in a fairly bad way. I've used a wire brush simply just to recover these. There's a few modifications I'm going to have to make. I've had to drill out one of the studs here that's snapped off. I'm going to replace all the bulbs in there. Fortunately the seals were in a fairly good way, so I'm going to keep those and recover those, and the glass as well is in a fairly good shape. It's not cracked or damaged or broken, so the indicators will be going back on as they are, and I'll just need to trim and adjust the wiring and change the bullet connectors to a fresh connector so that it can connect into the wiring loom. So we've got the holes drilled now for the lights. The lights fit in these apertures okay, no problems there. So now we can move on to the main grille section itself. I'm going to be refitting this fish mouth grille. I quite like the look of these grills, so what I've done is I've marked around the edge of the aperture at about 1/2 inch, a line all the way around. So what I'm going to do is cut out the centre aperture and then drill some holes to mount up the grille in place. I'm using a standard jigsaw to cut out the holes, but what you might be able to notice, I'm using a metal saw blade so as to not damage the fiberglass when I'm cutting, and that seems to be cutting really well, so it's certainly something I'd recommend. As far as the headlights go, I'm going to be fitting new. I've decided to fit new. It needed new rubber seals. These were completely perished as I took them off the car. Also the headlights as were damaged. They were stained and broken. They weren't matching, so they'd seen better days. So what I've done is purchased a set with 2 new headlights. It comes with the cup at the back, and really the only work to do on the headlights is going to be to look at the bullet connectors and make those fit into the existing loom. So I'll just have to check the colours to make sure that they're okay. So the front end is going to have 2 new headlights, and I think that should look pretty smart once they're in place. So there's the grille all mounted up. I had to cut off the tabs off the grille to get it to fit, otherwise it would have fouled the bodywork. So what I'm going to do now is just drill a few holes either end, and I'm actually just going to hold the grille on with a few zip ties either end for the purpose that I'm after. That'll be absolutely fine. So now we've got the grille in, we can then start to think about mounting it up to the car and what's involved in that.